This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
You're in a good place now. Relax, breathe, smile. You've entered into your element, the home of origin, the home of intelligence and beauty, where relevant topics are discussed, where what you think counts, and where superior is the norm. You are listening to Perspectives with Ashley Berges.
Hey, welcome back to Perspectives, live here with Ashley Berges here on 570 KLIF or on iHeartRadio.com. So, last week we began the Perspectives Purpose series. Say that a dozen times really fast. The Sunday show kicked off the Purpose series after we just wrapped up the whole concept of change. And, it's human to be raised a certain way, to have certain set thoughts and living with those set thoughts, either doing that consciously or honestly unconsciously. And we recognize that we don't have it, we don't like a certain thing, or we think about a certain thing, or we feel a certain thing, or we have these limitations. And unfortunately, our limitations can be removed with change. However, a lot of times it's hard to realize. Realizing that change is difficult for all of us humans, because it is uncomfortable. But sometimes we don't make those changes even though the situation we're in is uncomfortable and even somewhat painful. And you know why that is? Because it's familiar. Because it's second nature. Because we've dealt with it all our lives. And once we step up to the plate and actually make changes in our life, we have to stick with it. And we were talking about that the last few weeks, and that was about change. And once we make that change, we can't waver. We want to create lasting happiness, right? And that's the key. And that's how we get beautiful success in our life. And in last week's show, we began talking about what purpose is, right? How to find your true purpose. That's a big thing. Those are big things. How to find purpose and finding your true purpose is really the true calling behind your life. Because I've realized something. Once you find that true calling, that true purpose, change and getting rid of things that don't work becomes a lot easier. It becomes way easier. You make these necessary changes in your life because you've attained your true soul purpose. You found something. You found what everybody else is looking for. You remember back in City Slickers, the Curly said that one thing. That one thing. That's what I'm talking about, is that one thing tonight. And that's the key. And tonight's show is the second show within the Perspectives Purpose series. And joining us in studio this evening is Billy Blair. And many of you recognize him from Robert Rodriguez films, as well as The Last Stand. And we got a lot more to talk about on that level as far as all these films and the man behind that. But before we get into Blair, before we get into purpose, and before we get into you, let's jump into the recent news and headlines. You won't hear this stuff really anywhere else but Perspectives. You know what? And AKA, you can use this material at work. You can impress other people socially. And guess what? They will be impressed. Wink, wink. And now for the funny side of Perspectives. It takes all kinds to make the world go round. And, some of us label folks as, they're out to lunch. Or they're just rude. Or, man, they are stupid. Or they're just plain cray-cray. And you hear this stuff all the time. Everybody's labeling something someone. But you know what? There is no judgment here. We're just showing the cutting-edge perspectives on what's happening on our planet. What is that? Planet Earth. So in the most recent news, and I thought this was pretty interesting, Ethiopian police may be investigating a Big Brother contestant for sex on TV. And I thought this was pretty interesting. It seems that they may be for some real trouble for an Ethiopian woman who appeared during her time on Big Brother Africa to have sex with one of her housemates. According to a source, lawyers in Ethiopia have asked police to investigate Betty Abera, a 27-year-old contestant on the globe-trotting Big Brother series.
No, wait a minute, Ashley. I don't believe that for a second. You tell me that you put young men and young women in the same house together. I just don't believe that anything would happen there. I just don't believe it.
Oh, come on. Yeah, you don't believe it, right?
No.
I mean, they're going to be
that
like
would
angels.
never happen.
They're going to be angels.
They're going to sit in the living room drinking tea, discussing, the latest novel they read.
Oh, cheerio now. Cheerio, darling. I'd like to read you a bedtime story from England or something that I translated.
Yeah,
I like that. It's kind of funny because their criminal code, Ethiopian's criminal code, punishes sex acts, and it's kind of like this really narrow definition. Any obscene act or gesture. Just kidding on the narrowness. So any sort of act or gesture that's performed in public gets a jail term of 1 year. 1 year and a fine of 1,000 Ethiopian dollars. You know what $1,000 is in Ethiopia?
1,000 Ethiopian dollars?
Yeah, what does that account to in the United States?
Oh, in the United States. What is it, 10 cents maybe?
Oh, man. $54.
$54. Okay.
A little more than 10 cents, but wow, you were closer than most people would be. Most people would be like, what is it? Like the European dollar? How does that work? So Abera was evicted from Big Brother's house in June, but has remained in Johannesburg since then. So you know what? I want to say good luck, Betty. Too bad you don't live in the United States, because you'd probably get a book deal or a full spread page in Hustler, I'm sure, something like that.
Yeah, get a modeling contract. Should be like the next Kim Kardashian.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about in Johannesburg or Ethiopia. There you go. I mean, so, the next in recent headlines, Lindsay Lohan reality experience is coming to OWN network.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. According to the star-stuck executives at OWN, which is Oprah's juggernaut, has landed the interview of the millennium, or at very least the interview with the millennial Lindsay Lohan, and it's post-rehab musings to her audience.
Now, is she going to be required to be sober?
Not only that, but the new and improved post-rehab, Lindsay will also star in a short reality series on the OWN network because, well, there's nothing that helps a floundering showbiz career quite like a stint on reality TV.
Well, I had heard that the OWN network isn't doing all that well in the ratings, but are they this desperate?
Well, Tyler Perry actually put a lot of money into the OWN network, and I know that he just started 2 shows. One is the Have and the Have-Nots, and another show. And so I know that the Have and the Have-Nots is like number 1, I think, on the channel. So I don't know.
Well, just if you got connections there, Ashley, just somebody, just make sure somebody pats her down before she goes into the studio there.
Somebody pats her down.
Yeah.
And lastly, making headlines on Friday, Americans have taken multitasking way too far. We all multitask. What do? We
text while we drive.
Yeah.
While we're listening to music, while we're, we got the Bluetooth in our ear, whatever. So
exactly.
Yeah.
We might brush our teeth while we're in the shower, get some extra time there. Yeah. I don't know if you probably don't do that. I mean, you kind of looked at me funny when I said that.
I was going to say, you brush your teeth in the shower?
Yeah, I do. Save some time here and there. But, nearly 20%, we'll go past that real quick, and I'm not going to say any other crazy things that I do.
I was going to say, this is a family show now.
Now, come on now. Come on. Yeah, nearly 20% of young adults, smartphone owners in the United States between the age of 18 and 34 use their smartphone during sex.
I don't doubt that for a second because it's like, have you ever seen somebody who lost their smartphone? Like literally, they're like a zombie. They don't know what to do. They're looking for brains to eat or something.
Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do?
It's like in my own case. I mean, I've had. People are going to groan out there. I still got my iPhone 3GS. I've had it for about 3 years now.
I know. Oh yeah.
I know. See, you folks, you can't see this, but Ashley's looking at me like, you got a 3GS. You know, that's ancient in this day and age. But you know, when I first
tried to keep my cool on that one. I tried to act like I didn't. It was okay.
But I mean, you're normal. I mean, that's how people look at me. And so it's like when I first got my iPhone, I was like, okay, you know, I mean, I'll use it if I'm out and about. You know, if I need to look up something or whatever. I mean, I will literally carry my iPhone to the bathroom, to when I go to bed at night. If I'm just going out to my truck just to get something, I mean, my iPhone is on me 24/7, and if I misplace it or whatever, then it's like, so, people using it when they're having sex, I don't doubt it for a second.
See, and that's cool. I hope you take some wet wipes with you, though, when you go to the bathroom. Wipe the little case off and everything. I've handed that to some people, and they go, what? When they're coming out of the bathroom? What's this about? I'm like, the phone, dude, the phone, Yeah. But I agree with you. I've done it myself, and anybody that's listening to the show cannot say, no, I've carried it to the bathroom. I mean, but they don't ask what these people were doing with the phone, okay? We don't know if they were taking video or if they were just answering a text message back or, hey, I'll call you right back. I'm in the middle of something.
Probably Instagramming it.
Ooh.
Twitter.
That's rough. Okay, so they use their smartphone during sex, and nearly 1 in 10 U.S. adults who own smartphones use it during sex. But besides using smartphones during sex, respondents to this national poll admitted to using smartphones in other unusual type places. Okay, first thing, 35% in a movie theater. I've done that. I've done that.
Well, I've got the not Facebook, but Passbook. I've got the Passbook app on my phone, like for the tickets and all that good stuff.
But have you used it while you're watching a movie?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, I have too. 33% on a dinner date.
Oh, I've seen dinner dates where they don't even talk to each other. They're tapping away on their iPhones.
They're both on the phone.
Yeah, and that's their date. They're texting each other and they're texting other people.
I've heard it all. We've heard it all here. Let's just pack it up. Let's go. We've heard it all. 55% while driving.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Texas passed. For those of you who don't live in Texas, Texas passed a law. They're banning texting while driving. You can't enforce that. I mean, they're only going to get you if, like, they stop you. Like if the cop stops you, looking for something to get you for.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. 19% in church or in a place of worship, and lastly, 12% in the shower. Don't know how they're doing that, but my phone would not survive. So I wouldn't do the shower.
I've got the OtterBox.
Oh, okay.
So I could get away with it.
Well, and I bet he's used it in the shower. He laughed about me with the toothbrush. Now we got the shower.
I've got
issue.
a nap. I mean, say, you know why people use it for having sex and texting all the time in the movies? Because there's an app for everything. You don't think there's not an app for while you're having sex?
Wow. I don't have that app. Just for the record, I don't have that app. Just for the record, I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't hear you. I don't hear it.
Get that image out.
Yes. Well, it is kind of funny, though. But, hey, joining me later on here in the studio is Billy Blair. Can't wait to talk with him.
What up, Billy?
Billy's sitting right here. We got a lot of stuff to ask him about. Looking forward to this interview. As well as later on, we have the Perspectives Pulse. Don't forget about that. But you know what? Our big deal tonight is we're talking about purpose. We're talking about finding your true purpose. And I couldn't think of anybody better to discuss this besides Billy himself. So stay tuned. Keep it on 570 KLIF or keep it on iHeartRadio app. And you know it. Guess what? I'll be back in 2 shakes.
Turn it up and jump in the deep end on Perspectives with Ashley Berges. The water's warm and there's a swim-up bar. Glass of Perspective, anyone? Now, here's Ashley.
Hey, welcome back to Perspectives with Ashley Berges, live at 570 KLIF or iHeartRadio app, whichever one you like. It's your decision. So, we're talking about purpose, and joining me in studio tonight to talk about purpose, to talk about perspectives, to talk about life is Billy Blair. Billy, it's so great to have you this evening here in the studio.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you. It's fun.
This is awesome.
Oh, yeah. I like these. Wearing the headphones and all that stuff.
You look good in the headphones. They're good for you.
Thank you. Thanks.
If y'all understand, these headphones are like the biggest headphones ever made. I think they were created in maybe the 40s or 50s. They look like he should be. I love it. They look like he should be up at a spacecraft or something. Flying around with these things.
No, I don't doubt for a second those headphones because we used to have. Actually, I'm sorry. Our friends over at WBAP. I think they had those going back forever. You know, so they probably go back to the 50s.
Yeah, his are not so big. Why is that?
Because these are mine, bro. These are mine, which I bought with my my exorbitant salary from KLIF. We won't go there.
And he's obviously kidding.
comfy.
And you know, the thing is in radio, guys, and I know that when you're listening to this, you go, what is up with the headphones? But the headphones are such a big deal in radio. Like, nobody wants to share their headphones. I mean, it's like the last straw. If you have to borrow headphones, people are like, I don't know, do I know you well enough? I mean...
It's like sharing your brush.
It is.
You don't want to let anybody your brush.
It's rough. It's rough. I mean, it's like dog eat dog around here on the headphones.
You don't want to wear somebody else's earwax or whatever, you know?
Oh, go back to the wipe, the wet nap. Go back to the wet nap with the phone in the bathroom and the headset. Yeah. So, you know, Billy and I actually met, let's see, at the red carpet premiere of The Last Stand with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Johnny Knoxville. Yeah. And I know since then you have been a very busy bee.
Well, I'm trying to. You know, you get your foot in the door, and then you just try to use it up, you know, try to get to that next level. So
you're from El Paso, right?
Yeah, born and raised.
And you're related to Edgar Allan Poe. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, see, I didn't find that out later in life, of course, and this is really complicated, but my mother didn't meet her father till a later age, and then when we got to know him, he was like, oh, by the way, you guys are related to Edgar Allan Poe. He's your great, I don't know how many greats, but great uncle. So, you know, I was younger at the time, and I was like, yeah, I know, I've heard of that cat. So I remember him in school. So ever since then, you know, it was just like, wow, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty, I guess, big deal. You know, he's very popular in the goth world, right? And
in high schools all over
the world.
High school,
the Crow movie and all
Crow.
that. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, man, that's my great uncle.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting. You know, I think backgrounds are always interesting to know because our perspective does come from different things. Now, I know that you obviously we're not like buddy because there's no way unless you came back a different lifetime. But you know, we do learn a lot from our environment as well as our family. So, some of your recent films. Okay, so The Last Stand, The Kane Complex, Devotion, Machete Kills.
Machete Kills coming up. Yeah, that's the next one. October 4th.
Okay,
is when it comes out in theater.
Awesome. That's Robert Rodriguez, right?
Robert Rodriguez. That's the sequel to Machete.
Oh.
Yeah. It's supposed to be really good. I mean, if you look at the cast, you know, from the first one, you know, it was kind of crazy. You got Lindsay Lohan, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I did. I checked that out.
Yeah. And then this one, you got Charlie Sheen, which is Carlo Estevez, and then Mel Gibson. So you got that, and then everybody else.
Mel Gibson's in this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. How did you like doing the film? How did you like being in it? I mean, did you like your character?
Oh, I love it. Well, it's like if you've seen the first one, I was Don Johnson's henchman. So I had it was a good role. It was a pretty big role for me on that one. This one is more cameo. It's a smaller role, but it's like remember that guy from the last one. But it's a good scene. The scene is really, really, really cool. And cool. I don't know if anybody remembers the first one, I killed Robert De Niro. This one, I kill another A-list actor. But you're going to have to find out.
We have to see the film to find out.
You have to see it, yeah.
You just broke so many women's hearts, you know, all over the world, you know. I mean, killing Robert De Niro. What's up with that?
Well, when they find out about this one, it'll really break their hearts. Really. They'll be angry.
Oh, my stars.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you.
That's all right. They could come.
That's awesome. So also there's another, you got Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, which is also Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. That's a cool thing, you know, and people have told me that, you know, when you going good with a certain director, he'll keep using you more and more. And I kind of feel like that with Robert. We kind of had that little connection. So it was like an invite to do Sin City too.
That's cool.
It was real cool.
Well, you see, like there's a lot of actors that you know they gel with certain directors.
Yeah.
I mean, big time. You know, like I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, the guy that does like all those films. Like Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson are in them, and there's a couple like Jason Schwartzman and all of them are in that same group, and they're
it's like
always
with
Bill Murray, you know.
Yeah, Or like Ben Affleck or Matt Damon with was it Kevin Smith?
Yeah.
They'll do some of his.
Here's like a really old school one. John Ford and John Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It goes back.
Way back in the day. But
yeah, if you guys feel comfortable, Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
That's right.
Wow.
Yep.
Uses them all the time. It's just and he has said it before. It's like so home when you go work with Tim Burton. It's it's just close to home.
It's just like it feels like family, but good family. The family you like to have.
Exactly. It's a comfort zone.
That's cool.
So, yeah, you're gonna get the best performance that way.
You don't feel like inhibited. You don't feel weird about being around that person. It's like there's people out there. I feel like you, when they're around, you seem to like kind of hide out, and maybe like almost kind of hide. And then when other people are, you kind of get out and you shine. Because like that they're going to value what you have, but you also feel great about showing it in front of them.
Yeah, depends on. Also, if you're in character, people in character always hide.
That's true. That's true. And that's in real life, too. Anytime, day or night, So what age did you realize that, I want to be this artist, I want to be an entertainer, I love music, that kind of thing?
I have to say, really young age. I think because, I said it like 5 is when I got introduced to Sesame Street and Kiss. And when I saw Kiss, I was like, man, that is cool. So, of course, it was hard rock. And
Which one did you like best? Gene Simmons?
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because the first album I saw was Kiss Alive 2, and he had that blood. And I never forget, I was with my grandmother, and we went to, there was some Woolco store back in the day in El Paso.
What kind of store is that?
It was kind of like like what would a Walmart be today.
Okay.
But it was called Woolco.
Woolco.
Yeah. And she was going to buy...
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso,
yes,
I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
There you go.
As we drove up to the Wilco with that music on.
Yeah, and I think that music was playing in the intercom. But so she was going to buy me a Hot Wheel, and I saw Kiss album. I wanted the Kiss album. Never heard it. I just loved the way it looked.
How cool
Kiss
is that?
And the makeup, Gene Simmons with the blood. So that, I think, right there started that. That and Sesame Street, I would perform and sing in the living room. I think that was the first signs. Yeah.
I love that. I work with a lot of clients, and we deal with finding your true purpose. And I usually say, if you can go back to 5 or 6 and remember exactly what you loved then, you find your true purpose, because a lot of times we mask it. We hide from it, or we're scared of it, or we're so far away from it because we're doing like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what society wants me to do. I need to go to school and I need to get this degree, and then I can make a lot more money if I do this, but I'm not going to make any money doing that. So you have to kind of go back and say, what do I truly love? Because you can do anything and make money and do well at it. It might take time.
It's funny how you say that. I was talking to this with somebody. I still know. I know people still, like later age, they still don't know what they want to do. And that's scary for them, I guess, for anybody. And it really depresses them.
It does.
So, if you find it at an early age, good. Use it, stay on that road and keep going.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that for years. And then to run into people going to school, they figured like going to school is like their purpose, but they're not happy, and they're trying to get that degree, and they fail. They say, "Oh, I'll get it one day," and they're just miserable. You
preach.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm 40 years old, and I went to college. When I got out of high school 20 years ago, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. It's just like, okay, well, going to college because it was expected of me.
Yeah.
And so I went into the insurance business and hated it. And I made a good living at it, but hated it.
Yeah,
and,
that's just it. Certain professions, I guess somebody can make a lot of money and be miserable, and then they'll change, go for less money, but like happiness. I
mean, I was just a cog in the machine, in the corporate machine. You know what I'm saying? And so about 4 years ago is when I had the road to Damascus moment.
So you're happier now?
It's I'm as happy as I've ever been in my life.
There you go.
So
yeah, you got to find it.
Gosh, I love this. This is good. I mean, we're going to have to bring him back in here. I mean, we got so much to talk about,
Oh, yeah.
1 hour isn't enough, is it?
No, that's what we're working on, guys. We're working on syndication on this show. And so a 3-hour block would be really good, I think.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah,
yes.
it'd be great.
3 hours with Ashley.
3 hours, see?
Yeah,
we got
man.
Billy in, we got Bill, we got myself, we got Billy's cool daughter here that's sitting here in the studio, and she's doing really great, especially for a
Spinning on the
4-year-old
chairs.
child. That's, awesome. I'm very thankful. Most kids aren't raised like that. You raise a good child. So when we come back here, we're going to be talking about setbacks and hurdles and all that kind of stuff in the last segment. We're going to talk about purpose. We're really going to talk about Billy when he found his purpose, life goals, and getting through those hurdles and those problems and those setbacks, even when we know what we want to do. And sometimes it can even come even faster and harder when we really know what we love, because it's actually kind of like pushing us to see if we're going to go the distance. So when we come back here after break, we have the Perspectives Pulse. And
I love it.
and we're going to sit here and think about El Paso for a while we take our break. So guess what? Keep it on 570 KLIF. Keep it on iHeartRadio. And guess what? Yeah, you know it. We'll be back in 2 shakes.
Blacker than night were the eyes of Felina.
This is Jake Busey, and you're listening to Perspectives with Ashley Berges on 570 KLIF.
Welcome back to Perspectives, live here with Ashley Berges at 570 KLIF or on iHeartRadio. I know y'all hear me say this, but I am just reiterating the cool facts. So, guess what time it is tonight? I wonder what it is.
It's Pulse time, the Perspectives Pulse.
Obviously, it's the Pulse time, and guess who we have to talk with about what is going on here in our area tonight? J.R. Atkins, great to have you on the line. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, Ashley. Really enjoying the program tonight. Look forward to the third segment.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm just looking forward to listening to what we got to talk about here. I know that you told me about an event when we were on the phone earlier today. It was the Digital Dallas Dumbo launch party, and that's on Wednesday. Tell us a little bit about that event.
Yeah, it's got kind of a funny name, so let me explain that. So Digital Dallas is a group that started back in 2009, collecting the people in town that somehow touch the digital space. Everything from designers of websites to designers of mobile apps to business people, anyone that is somehow touching the digital space. We usually get together for a monthly event, have a very short program, a lot of networking, often lots of beverages and food. And that group is merging with a group out of New York, and that's where the Dumbo comes from. It actually stands for Down Under the Manhattan Bypass Overpass or something like that. You know, it has kind of a funny regional name, but that organization is branching out throughout the nation and collecting and partnering with other groups like ourselves, trying to create a bigger movement around people who work in the digital field.
You know, I know you were telling me about something really cool about how there's people who actually receive these like NFC-powered name tags that are linked to their LinkedIn profile. So is it like almost like a digital readout type like name tag?
Well, you'll have to come to see, but yeah, NFC, the near field communication, the idea is that each name tag, since it's tied to your LinkedIn, will have a different color code on it. So as you mix and mingle at this event this week, you'll see and have to figure out what the different color codes mean and such, and kind of just add a different kind of enticement to talk to one another, to network some, to get to know other folks in the digital space.
I want hot pink.
Coming up this Wednesday night, 6 to 10 o'clock, down in Deep Ellum at a place called Life in Deep Ellum.
Oh, I want to go to this event. We'll have to ride together. I'm pretty close to that area.
Well, let's do it. You know, it'd be nice if you and I met up there and then got to meet other people that are listening to the show. If we could somehow see each other's name tags or something, if we don't recognize one another, and get together and actually have face-to-face conversation.
I like that. So this Wednesday, JR and I will both be at this launch party event on Wednesday. What time is that event again?
6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. And where can we get all the information on the actual location and all that stuff?
Well, if you go to the Perspectives website, you can find details there. You can also find details on my website, somethingdifferentcompanies.com. But either one of those, you should be able to go and find a place to RSVP and purchase a ticket, which is $30 to get in.
And if for some reason it's not up on liveyourtruelife.org right this minute, it will definitely be there on Monday morning. So check it out, as well as I know you have another event. I actually really respect these folks a lot. The Society of Women Who Love Shoes, and they have an event on Friday and Saturday. Tell us a little bit about that, JR.
Yeah, so this group raises money through events to help increase awareness and combat the issues that surround the women abuse issues. As a matter of fact, we had a big event here in Dallas that Mayor Rawlings got behind earlier in the year, and I understand there'll be another one coming up this year also. But the whole idea is to get together, have fun. It happens to be around the idea of women who love shoes. So usually if you either bring some shoes, you get in for free. Otherwise, there's a small entry-level price. And then there's one in Fort Worth on one night, in Dallas on another night. So it's actually Thursday and Saturday. So the Thursday one's in Fort Worth. The Saturday night one is going to be in Plano. And the twist on the Saturday night, if the ladies wear a little black dress and as well as their fancy shoes, the ladies will get in free. And then we also can offer up a couple of free tickets to someone to win to go to either one of those events.
And you can win by calling in tonight at 888-787-5543. Again, the number is 888-787-5543. Or you can like us on Facebook, Perspectives with Ashley Berges, as well. So that's a good thing too, and you can show your love for the show or whatever you want to talk about the show, because we love feedback and we love your perspective. So if you want to get all that information, though, you either need to go to the Perspectives page, or JR will also say his page at the end of this as well. And now let's get to your networking tip, because a lot of times that networking tip also feeds into regular life. So what is that for this evening?
Well, the tip tonight has to do with how you manage your time at one of these events, along with whatever your goal is. So I've talked to people who say, if I could just meet one person tonight that would help me along with my business or my cause or my interests, I'd be happy. And then I'll talk to someone else and go, one person? Oh, no, man, I'd like to meet 5 or 10 more new people. So whatever your goal is, the idea is to manage your time against that.
1,000.
Well, I've talked to people that said, well, I went to something and I sat there the whole night and didn't talk to anyone. I'm like, dude, were you hanging out in the bathroom or what?
On your cell phone in the bathroom, I bet. On the cell phone in the bathroom.
They never looked up to meet anyone. So the idea is if you're only going to be somewhere an hour, it's really up to you to manage the experience and the time against whatever goal you have. So you got to sometimes reach out and meet 3, 4, or 5 people before you run across that one that says, I'm interested in some of the same things you are, or it sounds like we have a cause that we'd like to gather on, or, yeah, I'm interested in what you do for business. We should talk later.
I like that. It's all about getting out there, doing something with your time, and not just sitting around. That's just like in any part of life, If you go to a networking event like JR says and you just kind of sit there and you do nothing, there's really no reason to be there. I mean, the same holds accountable. If you have a bunch of great friends and you never really, get out there, you never actually extend anything, you never call them up to say hi. If you're on Facebook all the time just collecting a bunch of friends and not really caring about who they are or what they're doing, I mean, that's kind of like half-life living. You're not living to your full potential. You're not getting a lot out of it, because a lot of times when we don't even look in our own backyard, there's people there that can really not only be there as a friend, but they can also maybe help you find your true purpose in life.
Exactly. And, networking is really about building relationships.
That's exactly what it is. It's about building relationships on every level. And so we're going to be at that event on Wednesday. And I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have some really cool name tags that are flashing and doing stuff, and that's something to get me somewhere. So if you come out here, you'll actually meet JR and myself. And to get more of that information, you could go to the liveyourtruelife.org site, or where else can you go, JR?
Well, my website is somethingdifferentcompanies.com, and there's an events tab you can click on and find more information. And please do come up to us on Wednesday night if you're out, or at the other one. I'll be at the ladies' event on Saturday, the little black dress. I won't be wearing a little black dress, though.
Oh, come on. Come on. I was looking for a little short, little black skirt or something, you know. I'm going to stand by the door.
You would totally rock the stiletto black heels.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too.
We'll try that another time.
When you come back up to the studio sometime, JR, you're going to have to bring a pair of heels, too, with you, just to show them off, just to flaunt, you know, just to, you know, I don't know. No, okay, guys, he doesn't wear heels. We're not trying to say that, but we this is awesome. So definitely, I can't wait to see you on Wednesday, JR. And thanks a lot for giving us all this great information, because you know what? If you didn't, we wouldn't have it.
I appreciate it, Ashley. Looking forward to the rest of the show.
Rock on, sweetie. Talk to you next Sunday, and see you on Wednesday. So we learned a lot here on Perspectives Pulse tonight. I think we learned a lot. We know things that we didn't know, obviously, a few minutes before. So when we come back, Billy Blair, we're going to be talking more about purpose. We're going to be talking more about setbacks and hurdles and making the changes needed in life to actually succeed in that purpose that we have. So stay tuned. Keep it on 570 KLIF. Keep it on iHeartRadio. And guess what? Yes, you know, we'll be back in 2 shakes.
Get in here and give us your perspective. We're listening. You're listening to Perspectives with Ashley Berges.
Welcome back to Perspectives, live here with Ashley Berges here at 570 KLIF and iHeartRadio app. So either one you want to listen is great, because we just like that you listen. You can be a part of it, too, at any time when you call in, so we like to hear your perspective. You know what?
So, wait, Ashley, so if they do want to be a part of Perspectives and they want to get, talk to the Billy Blair, who's got a movie coming out, what number would they call?
They would call 888-787-5543, but they're going to be hard-pressed to get a question in at this time. But he will be back here in the immediate future. I have had a confirmation.
Woof, woof.
Yes.
And don't forget, next week, I haven't talked about this, but next week we got a great show coming up. We got some people that actually smuggled some men from Cuba and helped them escape Cuba. I actually got to spend some time with both the helper, the smuggler, and the people that actually came over from Cuba.
Whoa.
I'll be interviewing them next week on the show. We actually did some fishing and what have you when I was in Key West recently. So just a few days ago, I actually got to hang out with one particular person that had been in the country for about 30 hours. So it's a really cool show coming up. We got a lot to talk about. But let's get back to the whole purpose idea, the whole concept, because, we all deal with these situations in life. And I think, Billy, I think you can articulate this so well. When we have a purpose, sometimes we have these setbacks and these hurdles that we have to deal with. Once you realize really what you wanted to do, what were some of those hurdles? What were some of those things that you had to jump over and clear before you could really get to where you wanted to be at?
Well, for the longest time, of course, doing the music rock star thing, so to speak, was the party life. And that gets in everybody's, path. Everybody wants to party, especially when they're young, and they feel like they're in a higher ground or, some sort of comfort. So they got to, party really hard. And then all of a sudden they get this substance abuse and they feel like they can shake it off, and then that's it. But they end up being back right on that dark cloud. And I think that was my biggest one out of this whole trail, road, whatever. I'm now 3.5 years sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I never felt better in my life. But during that dark time, it could put you in a really, really depressing, suicidal kind of part, in your life. And unfortunately, a lot of my friends, I could count with 2 hands at least, they died from that, whether it's just ODing or suicide.
Right.
And it just sucks because they couldn't get out of that and enjoy what was to come.
Or maybe it's like both. They OD'd, they committed suicide by ODing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty much a combination of that.
That's true.
And I thought I was in that road as well, that same boat, because God, I don't know how many times I was laying in bed, and I was just talking to this recently to my girlfriend. It's like, man, I was in here in bed just wondering when am I going to stop. So luckily that I turned that light switch off, and man, I honestly got to say I'm really lucky to pass that and just look what's ahead.
That's true, and it's like I deal with several clients, and I understand, and it's like alcohol and drugs is a hard thing because it gets in the way, and it gets in the way of a lot of people, especially creative people in general. If you're a human being, it's something that can get in your way.
Yeah.
And it was designed to do that. It was designed to do that. It wasn't designed to help you. I like it when people say, oh, I'm on this, but it really gives me clarity.
It's almost like hand in hand, right? Because when you think of entertainment business especially, you just think party life. But, man, it's just really doesn't go. It's really bad.
It is bad. And I know most of the people I know, not all of them, but most people I know in Hollywood and what have you are in AA, they're in the program, they've been in the program, or they've been sober for X amount of time. And it's like, how many Tom Collins I see being poured at a restaurant because people don't, they've stopped drinking, they've stopped doing drugs.
Did you hear the news from, I think it was yesterday or today, Corey Monteith from Glee? Did you hear about that, Ashley?
Yeah, I was talking to them, my girlfriend. I was like, another entertainer, actor. They didn't say what it was, but if you look at his history.
It's like he was in a hotel in Vancouver, and that's all I got.
Yeah, I read it. It was like they found him in a hotel, and then he had a drug history problem. So it was like they didn't reveal what it was, the cause of death, but it's quite obvious.
So this is like case in point of what you're talking about.
Exactly.
He's been struggling for so long, and just finally it caught up to him.
Yeah.
That's so rough.
31 years old, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Real young.
He's a child. I mean,
still had his whole career. I mean, who knows what he could have gone on to.
That's what I'm talking about. It's just people some of those people just don't realize, you got a big ocean ahead of you. And then
That's true.
And then you end it because of just some drugs, some fix.
Well, like Billy, let me real quick question, Ashley. So, in your case, I mean, you knew the road you were going down.
Yeah.
And in your case, was it like, okay, you know what? I can't deal with these negative feelings. I'm going to self-medicate.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's like it fed on itself, right?
Yeah. And it was been going like that for quite a while. Luckily, I didn't need any AA or any kind of help like that. It was just an instant, off switch.
Good
for me.
Good for you.
But I finally got it. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, good for you, bro.
And I'll never go back, man. I mean, I can honestly say I won't
That's
ever
awesome.
go back to that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've seen it, and that's what I talk about with my clients, is that once you figure out your true purpose, the concept of doing the drugs and alcohol, they just go by the wayside because you realize, okay, I could be, how old? I could be 20, I could be 30, I could be 40, and you feel like, I have got to make up so much lost time for figuring this out that I don't have time for this. I don't have time to drink and get smashed at the bar with the same people talking the same thing, doing nothing. I don't have time to do the drugs that's going to keep me off where I should be, because guess what? I'm just now figuring out what my purpose is. I got to get going. I got to get moving with this. I got to get ready. I mean, my life is ready to live.
It's a waste of life, when you do that, and then you forget, and then you're too hungover to enjoy anything really. It's just a waste. And then by the time some people clear up, you're old.
That's the honest truth. You're old. It's like you can still do something though. It's never too late to change. It's never too late to make changes. It's never too late to find your purpose. You can find it at any age. And I tell you, once you find it, I don't care how many years you have left on this earth. It's going to be the last great years. Your life will be great from then on out. I swear to you, no matter how many years you got left. So tell me, what are some projects that you're working on right now that I would know that, it's kind of under wraps?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of movies that are going to come out in film festivals, and that's the Kane Complex and then Devotion. And I'm hoping that it's later at the end of this year. In pre-production, I got The Prodigal that's coming up in Houston, and the one that of course, is my main baby, Squeeze. It's co-producing it's called Blood Sombrero.
Blood Sombrero.
You can see that on my Facebook and Blood Sombrero, Facebook.com. I don't know how that works, but
I got to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. We every week we put up a poster of it's like everybody's a star in the movie that's in the movie, and we have a character poster for each character. So every week we reveal a character, and I think
how cool is that? That's cool.
Yeah, it's way cool. I think we're on our 5th character or 6th. After we reveal the last character, then we have a teaser trailer for it, and then of course we're doing a fundraiser for it.
Awesome. Well, I'm interested, so I will let everybody know, all the listeners, what I find out. And,
Yes.
And so one last thing before we have to close up here. We got a few seconds left.
Sure.
Leave our tell our listeners like one thing that is just like kind of your mantra, like the way you live, what you think on a daily basis.
Go do it, and if you think you can do it, just do it, and don't waste your time. Don't later on think, what if, because you will do that, and if you do that, then shame on you.
That is awesome. I like that. Go the distance. Do what you have to do.
Do it. Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. Hey, it can happen. Anything can happen. Anything's possible. Believe me.
That's true.
It is.
And so I've already asked you, you're going to be back here soon at some point here on Perspectives?
I would love to come back, please.
Gracias. Would appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
You guys are very cool.
You're awesome. And so as you hear it, that's Billy Blair tonight. And obviously this is Perspectives. And I hope you have a really great night this evening. I hope you have a great week. And next Sunday we'll be back with the Cuban story, with the changes, with the smuggling, and getting to freedom. So from now on, please look at liveyourtruelife.org. And you know what? Have a great night. And
you too. Thanks, both of you.
Thanks all for coming, bro.
You got
Appreciate
it. Thank you.
And tune in next Sunday. And it's been Perspectives on 570 KLIF. Good night.